So good old Twitter. It has a lot of people with strong opinions. Are they good opinions? I'll let you judge that one by yourself. However, before you do so, let's check out a show Twitter had some strong opinions on from summer to fall, and that is She-Hulk. So let's just get into it. This is created by Jessica Jayo for Disney Plus. It is the 8th show set in the MCU. Gaio also served as a head writer with Kat Curio leading the directing team. This show follows Jennifer Walters, an attorney who is in her 30s and is single. However, her life changes when she becomes the next green hero here, She-Hulk. Jennifer is played by Tatiana Maslany, not to be mixed up with the character Tatiana, played by Jamika Jamil, who is a superpowered social media influencer aiming to be She-Hulk's rival. Ginger Gonzaga plays Nikki Ramos, who is Jennifer's best friend and paralegal. Mark Ruffalo returns as Smile Hulk, who is Jennifer's cousin, who ended up giving her the powers from his blood in an accident. Josh Surega plays Pug, who is a co-worker of Walters. Mark Lynn Baker and Tess Malice Kinnaid plays Morris and Elaine Walters, who are Jen's parents. Tim Roth returns as Abomination, who gets help from Jen to be released from jail. Megan Thee Stallion appears as herself, who becomes one of Jen's clients after someone impersonates them. Benedict Wong returns as Wong, who needs help from Jen while also explaining about why he released Abomination for a cage fight, which we've seen in Shang-Chi. Reen Elise Goldsberry plays Mallory Buck, who is another one of Jen's co-workers. John Bass plays Todd Phelps, who is essentially a rich, nice guy, who tries to go out with Jen but then decides to take her blood since she rejects him essentially. Bryce Cairo plays Donnie Blaze, who is a former student of the mystic arts, who decides to use some of his abilities that he learned at magic shows. Griffin Matthews plays Luke Jacobson, who is a fashion designer for superheroes. Patty Harrison plays Lulu, who is one of Jennifer's old friends. Charlie Cox returns as Daredevil, who defends and saves Jacobson. Brendan Stanley plays Leapfrog, who is the one who tries to sue Jacobson, then takes him hostage. Finally, Drew Matthews plays Dennis Boraxi, who is a former co-worker of Jen's who also was a victim to the Megan Thee Stallion impersonator. The show overall had 9 episodes, and as mentioned, it ran from summer to fall, specifically from August 18th to October 13th. Cairo overall directed 6 of these episodes, specifically episodes 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, and 9, while Anu Valia directed the remaining 3, which were episodes 5, 6, and 7. Gail wrote on 3 of these episodes, specifically 1, 2, and 9. Francesca and Jacqueline G. Gales wrote on episode 3. Melissa Hunter wrote on episode 4. Dana Schwartz wrote on episode 5. Cara Brown wrote on episode 6. Zepp Wells wrote on episode 7. And finally, Cody Sigler wrote on episode 8. The character was first expected to make a live-action debut all the way back in July 1989 for the TV film The Death of the Incredible Hulk. However, she did not appear, and it was even revealed that her own proposed show was cancelled at ABC a year later. A film based on the character was even put in development in 1991 at New World Pictures, where Larry Cohen set to direct, with Bridget Nielsen playing the lead. But overall, all we got from that is a professional photo shoot featuring the character. Nothing else seemed to have come up for the live-action She-Hulk project again until 28 years later, when Marvel Studios announced this show was being developed at D23. Gale would then be approached to pitch for the series shortly after. The director had previously pitched for the studios 3 previous times, for Captain Marvel, Black Widow, and Shang-Chi. However, none of them worked out. However, each time she would also mention her curiosity in doing a She-Hulk project. Even with Brand Winbaum, an executive at Marvel, had said with the Black Widow pitch she did, it more featured the character and even felt more like a She-Hulk feature in Black Widow film. Her original pitch originally focused on Return of the Hulk and Abomination, more of the trial that we see a little bit in the final product. She also wanted to include a lead from either Tim Blake Nielsen returning or creating a new version of the character. She was then hired to be head writer in November 2019. Cairo would then be hired to direct their 6 episodes and to executive produce in September 2020, while Vala was hired to direct their episodes in that December. The show's full title, She-Hulk Attorney at Law, was announced this May. Feige is the one who is credited for this title. He heard Bruce's line,
"Don't even."
No, I love that. That's got a nice ring to it. She-Hulk, Attorney at Law.
And thought it worked really well. It was also originally announced by Feige that the show would have 10 episodes, however we eventually just ended up with the 9. For the show's future, Cairo said in August that this show would get a 2nd season, or that the character would definitely be appearing in other films. Gaio said that they had an idea for a 2nd season, or they completely wanted to complete the 1st season story first. The writers, Wells and Ziegler, actually worked on comics before, and Wells suggested the lesser known villains to appear in their episode of The Retreat. Writing for the show overall began in 2019 and finished in early May 2020. Feige said that this show would be faithful to John Myers' take on the character in the comics. Gail was originally on to say that she felt the show is similar to Ally McBeal, however the series wasn't exactly a massive influence to the writers. Influences were Legally Blonde, Seinfeld, and The People vs. O.J. Simpson American Crime Story. What an interesting list indeed. Quote to Gail as well is that to them the series draws from the storyline of Dan Slott's comic run, while having elements from Breyer's. A massive thing they took from the comics was the use of the character breaking the fourth wall, and well, apparently in the original drafts, this was a constant thing going on, and Marvel felt that this was too much initially, but in the end it seems that they all got it figured out. Now that I mentioned the fourth wall breaking, two shows that people seem to compare to this one are Fleabag for having a female character that breaks the fourth wall, and Better Call Saul for having a show about a lawyer, while Gail actually included both as references in her initial pitch. As mentioned at the beginning, I hinted at some people hating on this show in misogynist troll comments. However, this is something Gail and the writing team knew would go about when it came to female superheroes at Marvel, so they decided to address it in its show and incorporate it even into the story. Casting side of things, Ruffalo said in November 2019 that he planned to meet Feige about making an appearance on the show, and by March 2020 it was confirmed that he was in talks to appear. By September, Deadline Hollywood got the word of and announced that Miss Lady was cast as the lead, and she even went on to deny such said reports, saying it was a press release that got out of hand. The company, however, refrained this casting in November and then re-announced it, and by the end of the month, Feige finally confirmed it was true. This actress actually is known to take on roles in projects that focus on character, and was really hesitant to join the franchise like the MCU. However, they did decide to audition for the role since they liked the script and wanted a shift in their overall life. She has even gone on to admit that she did lie and that she denied being casted, but this is because they simply did not know if they were allowed to say they were or not. The same month of the announcement, Feige also confirmed Russello's involvement along with Tim Roth returning to the franchise. Megan Thee Stallion's cameo was announced this August, and an inclusion that was suggested by Jamil, who worked with the rapper on another show, Legendary. Another interesting last cameo of the show was Scar, Hulk's son, who was motion captured by Will Dusner. However, Gail is unaware if Marvel planned to keep this actor for the role. Ian Foley was the costume designer on the show after previously working on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Gonzalo also put input into a character's wardrobe since she has an experience in the fashion world. Moving on to an odd fact, to make Titania look as fake as possible, her actress bought a padded butt and even did her own makeup to make it look like the character had plastic surgery. For the Daredevil costume, it was essentially the Netflix costume with a new colour scheme, which is the same as the original comic introduction. They even used this original Netflix suit in the costume fittings for the show. Each episode in the series had end credit scenes that featured the style of the courtroom sketches, and these were drawn by Kegan McLeod. Filming began on April 12, 2021 at Atlanta, Georgia. Lauren Ballas and Doug Chamberlain served as the cinematographers for each episode. Filming was originally meant to begin on July 6, 2020, but was postponed to 2021 due to COVID. Tamel would go out and say her filming would finish in the week of August 15th, and the filming overall wrapped around the same time. Gail's gone on to say that her and the writing team were encouraged to feature She-Hulk as much as possible. However, when it came to filming, it was requested that some of the scenes featuring She-Hulk would be changed to ones with her in a normal form as Jen. This meant a lot of things had to be changed at the last minute, and even when it came to editing, they had to cut a big amount of shots featuring She-Hulk due to budget issues. For music, Amie Doherty was revealed to be composing the series in July of this year. The overall aim for the main theme was to go with Jen in the courtroom to then this big superhero world with She-Hulk. Some inspirations for this were Ally McBeal, The Good Wife, and The Good Fight. She also wanted to bring a modern sound to the score and looked into songs from Megan Thee Stallion, Billie Eilish, and overall the top 40. The score for the series was released in two different volumes, the first having music from the first 4 episodes which was released on September 6th, while music from the last 5 episodes were released on October 19th. The overall main theme was released on August 18th. The show had its world premiere in LA on August 15th. It was originally meant to be released on August 17th with weekly Wednesday episodes, however it was changed to 18th with weekly Thursday episodes for some reason. This overall is the final series in Phase 4 of the MCU. Critically, Rotten Tomatoes gave it an 85% based on 599 reviews, and Metacritic gave it 67 out of 100 based on 26 reviews. The Marvel Studios Assemble special based on the show was released on Disney Plus on November 3rd. Now onto my thoughts. Okay, so I'm just going to start this off by saying I don't blindly hate the show just because it's a female superhero like some people. I don't also necessarily hate the show as well. It has its fun moments, however at the same time, this show was a big step down compared to other MCU series. I don't know what really happened here. It had a good plan / premise by the looks of it, but it took 3 whole episodes to actually start up and go full gear. I think the message is also very repetitive in each episode as well, to be honest. I will say though, my favourite episodes by far are the last 2. Not to say that episode 8 is my favourite because of Daredevil either. They seem to actually have an idea of what the show is trying to achieve. Although the final still has the blatant flaw of, hey, we admit we are shit writers, which doesn't actually change the writing of the previous episodes. And even then they proceeded to carry on doing bad writing at the end as well. Not the worst show I've seen, but this could have been far better. This is overall a 2 out of 5 or a 4 out of 10. So yeah, that was me going through She-Hulk with just some facts and my own thoughts on the series. What are your thoughts on the series, guys? Because there's people that really hate on the show, or there's people that love it. Again, it makes a lot of discussion happen on Twitter, which can create some toxicity. But I'm just going to leave it and say that it had its moments, but overall, I was very disappointed by the show. And yeah, that's all I really have to say, really. If you liked the video, please like. If you have any interesting facts about the show yourself and your own thoughts, please comment down below. And subscribe to the channel if you've been watching my content for a good while. Maybe you've been watching the MCU videos. Because, believe me, when each MCU thing comes out, expect a video to eventually be on my channel about it. So yeah, that's all I have to really say, really. This was an okay show, and I'll see you next week, hopefully, for whatever I cover, or whenever I next make a video, but it'll hopefully be next week. It will be next week from the current schedule. But yeah, I'm babbling on a bit now, so I'll see you next week. And yeah, that's all really.
Ribbit, mother...